Hey friends, are you bored of running around the same domains over and over again just to get shafted by the cruel hand of fate known as artifact farming? Well, I have good news for you. Not about artifact farming, that's still going to be a major pain. No, the good news is about the Dendro reaction, and maybe a little bit about artifacts as well. The Sumeru Dendro trailer just released, and even though it was really short without any major details, we still learned a lot. Currently, the only Dendro reaction in the game is Burning, which is Dendro and Pyro. While this reaction does a decent amount of damage, we can only create this reaction against Dendro slimes. The factors that enhance the damage may change in the future, but based on what's currently in the game, and what's special about Burning, is that it applies a lot of Pyro over several seconds, making things like Reverse Melt and Overload even more consistent and therefore better. But this most recent trailer has also given some insight into the new Dendro reactions, and let's just say things are looking really good, especially for some characters that might not get a lot of use. Now, to give you an idea of why this is so good, we first need to explain these reactions, and we're going to start with the second reaction revealed in the trailer because it's more simple than the other one. This reaction has been translated to Catalyze, which is a combination of Dendro and Electro. Pairing these elements will increase the amount of damage enemies take from both Dendro and Electro. Pretty straightforward. The other reaction revealed is Bloom, and by using Dendro and Hydro, a little seed is created on the ground. Now when this seed interacts with Pyro or Electro, a second level elemental reaction will occur, in the same way that heavy attacks or Geo can interact with the Frozen reaction to create Shatter. And if you don't remember what Shatter is, don't worry, no one else does either. But like the Shatter reaction, this Bloom can cause a second level reaction after the initial Bloom reaction. If Pyro interacts with the seed already created by the Bloom, an explosion occurs, and if Electro interacts with the seed, then a Dendro homing missile fires at an enemy. This could potentially make Dendro a great element to pair with Electro and Electro-based teams. Both Electrocharged and Overload are really good reactions on their own, but no one really uses them because they are a little bit wonky. Electrocharge can be finicky because sometimes Electro is causing the reaction damage, and sometimes Hydro is causing the reaction damage. But by adding both Bloom and Catalyze in the mix, the damage will not only increase, but also become a lot more consistent. The Bloom reaction can eat some of the Hydro so it doesn't mess with the Electro too much, and then the Catalyze can reduce enemy resistance to both Electro and Dendro. And then when you combine the two, now you have Bloom Electro charges that fire off Dendro homing missiles and shock enemies with Electro, while the Catalyze reaction reduces the enemy resistances to both Dendro and Electro. Or in Razor speak, Electro make shock, Plant make missile. Electro and Plant also make enemy hurt more. So all we need is a good Dendro applicator and Electro charge will start dealing absurd amounts of damage. Mark my words, this will be coming. However, there's more. Catalyze and Burning seem to be another great combination. You know how I said that Burning applies tons of Pyro over a sustained period of time? Well, imagine you have something burning that you then use a lot of Electro on. You've just made tons and tons of Overload and enemies will be exploding for days. But wait, what if you add Catalyze to the mix? By decreasing Dendro and Electro resistance and then adding Burn, it will allow you to not only overload very easily, but it will allow for both your on-field and off-field characters to do more damage. Let's say you have a character who has a Dendro infusion ability or is a Dendro catalyst user on the field, and then you have a good off-field Electro applicator, like Fischl, who we're getting for free in the next patch by the way. Well now, you've not only increased the ease for overload, but also increased the damage from two other sources. And while this reaction is not recommended for smaller enemies because the explosions will blow them up all over the place and you have to chase them down, if you're using this against larger enemies or bosses, it could do absurd amounts of damage. These reactions would also make characters like Lisa a lot more useful and would also make characters like Yaimiko even more powerful. It could also make certain leftover artifacts from the Wanderers or Thundering Fury set a lot more valuable. And I love whenever something we already have gets a major buff. Of course, all of this is really just speculation at this point, and it is subject to things like internal cooldowns, and it probably won't fit into play as neatly and nicely as I want, and every situation might be a little bit different. But hey, beyond the new area, quests, puzzles, and characters, it looks like the Dendro element will be a great addition to the game. And simply having 1 or 2 good Dendro characters could increase the value of your entire account the same way having 1 or 2 good Animo characters dramatically increases your ability to do harder content and the overall value of your account. It's also really nice that Dendro does not seem to be like a power creep or a complete competitor to Animo, but something that's slightly different to it. Since Dendro reactions are utilized differently than Animo reactions, it means that the characters on Dendro teams are probably going to be different, or at least need to be built differently. And based on what they showed us, I think that means that characters we already have, especially the free characters, are going to become a lot more valuable. I'm particularly interested in how Lisa will fare because she can do Overload and Electrocharge very easily, being an Electro-Catalyst user herself. And if the Dendro reaction is as good as it seems, Lisa might be a really formidable force that everyone gets for free. Unfortunately, Geo still gets nothing, so sorry, Noelle.
Oh!
But please share your own theories on Dendro in the comments below, or drop by on Twitch and come tell me what you think about them. And also, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really does mean a lot to me, and I appreciate you all for taking the time to help this little shark. As always, friends, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.